What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ron back with DFS Greatness. I'm here to give you great lineups, great picks. Let's have a great night. Like the page, subscribe to my channel. Let's get to it. First game of the night, you got the Cavaliers going against the Pacers at a 210 total. Hawks going against the Hornets at a 229 total. Pretty good game. Raptors going against the Knicks at 218 total. Clippers against the Celtics at 228 total. Wizards going against the Bulls at 226.5 total. Pelicans, the Grizzlies, 213 total. Anthony Davis got to play. Pelicans want that 100K fine every game. A lot of money. Thunder against the Rockets, 237 total. The highest total tonight. Going to be probably the best game of the night. Magic against the Bucks, 225.5 total. Let's dig into this slate. At the point guard position on DraftKings, the guy I like a lot. I think he's in a fantastic matchup. I like Kemba Walker going against Atlanta. They defense is the worst defense, give up the most fantasy points to, for the defense position. At the point guard position, they give up the second most fantasy points. He's $900 more on FanDuel. He's only 9,100 on DraftKings. He's projected tonight to give 40 fantasy points. That's about 4x. Last three games going against Atlanta, he's averaging 45 fantasy points, 38, 47, and 51. But the last three games, Kemba Walker been on a tear, man. 58, 60, and 65 fantasy points with a 31% usage rate. I like him a lot. I think he's in a good matchup. And you always got James Harden. I'll never say fade James Harden, but James Harden also been going off, man. At 12,200. He's projected to get 74 fantasy points tonight, about 6 times value. He's $1,400 more on FanDuel, probably better DraftKings play. He projected tonight. Let me see, 50. But yeah, last three games going against OKC, he don't have 52 fantasy points, averaging around 52 fantasy points, 65, 44, and 48. Going against his old team, it's gonna be he's in a good matchup. Then another guy I like on DraftKings, I think he's in a good matchup. Also tonight, I like Chris Dunn at that price tag, $6,500. I feel like that's a fair price tag. At Washington defense, they give up the fourth most points in defense efficiency and the fifth most to point guard. So I think he's in a good matchup tonight. 6,500, need around 29 fantasy points tonight. It's about 4 times value. And I think he's in a good matchup, man. Last three games, he's been playing pretty good. 35, 41, 21, he's been playing pretty good. He's $700 more on FanDuel. He's definitely a better DraftKings play. I like that guy a lot tonight. And then another guy I like too, I want to go back to the well. I think Dennis Smith Jr., I think I'm probably going to have him a lot of GPP lineups tonight. Last three games, he been on a tear. 49, 39, 24 fantasy points. I'll probably have him a few GPP lineups. He going against a tough matchup against Toronto. He's $600 more on FanDuel. He's a better DraftKings play. I like that guy a lot tonight. Another guy, I think he's in a good matchup too, is Dennis Schroeder at 4,800. I just feel like he's in a good matchup tonight. Dennis Schroeder, he's been playing pretty good, and I don't see nothing wrong with him. He playing just about starter minutes. Dennis Schroeder is at the price tag 4,800. He's $400 more on FanDuel. Last three games, 27, 26, and 32 fantasy points. And going against Houston, he's averaging 28 fantasy points against Houston with a 25% usage rate, playing around 28 minutes a game. I think he's in a good matchup. You want a good direction with him. But a guy I'm probably going to lock in at the point guard position is Kemba Walker. At the shooting guard position, a guy I like tonight, you got Bradley Beal. Since John Wall been injured, Bradley Beal's been on a tear, averaging 44 fantasy points a game, 56, 51, 45. The last three games going against Chicago, he's averaging 36 fantasy points tonight. He's projected to get about 42 fantasy points, just about 44, about 5x. He's $500 more on FanDuel. They give up the ninth most fantasy points in defense as a whole, and the second most to the shooting guard. Chicago's been pretty bad. I think he's in a good matchup tonight. Another guy you can go in the same game is Zach LaVine. Going against Washington, their defense give up the fourth most fantasy points, and also they give up the fifth most fantasy points to at the shooting guard position at 6,600. That's a good price on DraftKings. He's 1,100 more on FanDuel. Is definitely better play on DraftKings. Last 3 games, man, he's been on a tear. Averaging 36 fantasy points a game, 41, 54, and 29. I like him a lot. Last 3 games, with a 31% usage rate, averaging around 34 minutes a game. I like him a lot. I mentioned Chris Dunn earlier. Both of those guys in fantastic matchups tonight. You can go that direction with them. And one guy I always like to play is one of my favorite guys to play just about every night is T. Ross. Terrence Ross at 5,000 is projected to get around 25 fantasy points by 5 times value. He's $700 more on FanDuel, so he's a better DraftKings play at 5,000. Last 3 games, man, he's been on a tear with a 24% usage rate. I like him a lot because they gotta have somebody to be able to come off the bench to score, and Terrence Ross should be able to do that tonight. He's in a fantastic matchup too. That's a guy I'm probably lock him in at the small forward position. It's a lot of good names out there tonight, but a guy I like tonight is Paul George at 10,000 price tag. I think he's in a good matchup tonight going against the Houston Rockets at 10,000. He's $1,400 more on FanDuel, so he's a better DraftKings play. He's projected tonight to get 50 fantasy points, 48 fantasy points. I'd like him a lot. Last 3 games going against Houston, 56, 57, and 41. He's averaging 51 fantasy points with a 30% usage rate. Thing about Paul George now, Westbrook is comfortable with him taking over, and it's nothing like being comfortable with a team that, you can just be yourself. That's what Paul George been doing, and they're making a difference with the chemistry with the team and everybody playing pretty good. I like him a lot. Another guy I think Kawhi Leonard will be back tonight. He got one of the best matchups going against New York. They defense give up the second most points as a whole and the 7th most at the small forward position at 9,300. He need about 45 fantasy points to be almost 5x. He's $600 more on FanDuel. You can't predict blowouts, but Kawhi Leonard's in a fantastic spot. I might have him in a few GPP lineups, not that many, but he's in a good matchup. If Kawhi Leonard go off, and he's going to probably be definitely low on. And another guy I like tonight, I like Thaddeus Young. I think Thaddeus Young, he's in a good matchup also at 6,200. He need around 27 fantasy points tonight, and that's about 4x. Last 3 games, 27. Averaging 27 fantasy points down. He's been playing pretty good. And I'm going against Cleveland tonight. I think he's a good matchup. Their defense is 10th worst, give it the 10th most fantasy points and 11 to most to the small forward. I think it's a good matchup. I like him a lot. I think he should be a good play tonight with an 18% usage rate. They got to have somebody to score, Without his usage went up since the Oladipo injury. I like him a lot. And then it's a lot of other good guys I like. I think you got the revenge narrative tonight. It's a lot of revenge. Jabari Parker at 4,800. I think that's a bargain price going against a team that really, his heart and soul wanted to play for Chicago growing up, being from Chicago, and they, traded him and stuff. The coach, didn't want to use him at all. So I think Jabari Parker's in a good matchup tonight going against Chicago. At 4,800, projecting around 23 fantasy points tonight. It's about 4x. I mean, at that price tag, he's probably a better FanDuel play. $900 cheaper on FanDuel, but I think Jabari Parker is a good play tonight. He's a little cap. He save you some money. You can go the direction with him. I like him a lot tonight. Going against them. Going against Chicago. Another guy, I've been playing him a lot lately, man, at 4,700. Kenrich Williams. I think this guy has been playing pretty good, man, getting the opportunity to start, and he's just been, taking advantage of his opportunity. At 4,700, he need around 25 fantasy points. That's about 5x tonight against Memphis. This guy been on the tear, 33, 29, 32 fantasy points. Playing good starter minutes. I like him a lot. That's somebody you can go and you throw in a lineup and save some cap. One direction with him. I'm going to put Jabari Parker in also. I mean, not Jabari Parker in. I'm going to get Paul George. And at the power forward position tonight, you got some good guys you can throw in your lineups. The guy I think I'm going to have my lineup tonight, Anthony Davis. his price tag did go down a lot. Went to 10.5. He was like 11.2. I think 11.2 the night before. It's just his minutes. It's just a lot going on with him. I think you want to throw him in your lineup, but you can save some money with him. You want to go that direction with him. I think I like Laura Marketing tonight going against Washington. They give up the fourth most points in defense as a whole and the fifth most to small forwards and power forwards. I like him a lot. And last 3 games, man, this guy been on a tear. 60, 49, and 42 with 25% usage rate, averaging around 32 minutes a game. His minutes has been going up lately since the trades and stuff happened. I like marking it tonight that he's in a good matchup. You can't predict blowouts. It should be a more competitive game of the night. And then another guy, I think he's in a good matchup too tonight. Jaren Jackson Jr. going against New Orleans. They give up the 5th most points as a whole and the 12th most as power forwards and centers at 6,600. He's projecting to get about 28 fantasy points. I think he's in a good matchup tonight without Paul Gasol being traded. 38, 42, and 28. I like him a lot. You save some cap. You can go the direction with Jaren Jackson Jr. You always got the guys. I mentioned Thaddeus Young. You got Ibaka and Siakam, 2 guys you can put in your lineup together. They in good matchup too. New York, they 29th as a whole, and they give it the most points to power forwards and centers. So you see what happened last night. Drummond and Blake Griffin. Drummond went off. He had a 2020 game against those guys last night. So definitely you got both of those guys in your lineup. At the center position tonight, a guy I think he's in a good matchup. I mentioned Laura Marketing tonight. You also, I think another guy is probably going to be low on, Julius Randle. I think he's in a definitely good matchup tonight because I don't know how the maintenance is going to be with the minutes with Anthony Davis. I think he's in a good matchup too tonight. You want to go that direction with him. Well, man, these is my plays, the guys that I like tonight. Hopefully this video I dropped for you guys was helpful, man. And I think also I forgot to mention another guy like Miles Turner tonight going against Cleveland. 6,700. He's $1,200 more on FanDuel, projecting to get around 28 fantasy points. With the news of Oladipo out for the season, man, these guys been playing their heart out, man. They've been like hustling, playing their ass off, and just been grinding, man. I think Miles Turner is a good guy to throw in your lineup tonight. He saves some cap. You can go the direction with also Miles Turner. I like him a lot. Well, man, hopefully this video will be helpful for you guys. I just gave you guys a good core to rock with tonight. And hopefully everybody will, be able to cash out tonight. This is a good core, man. And I got some sleeper picks I want to give you guys real quick. Other guys that I mentioned in my video. I mentioned Bobby Portis, he's in my lock. Another guy you can go with tonight, Jeremy Lamb against Atlanta. They struggling in shooting guards pretty bad. They give up the most points to shooting guards. Another guy I like too. And then, in case you can't predict blowouts, Daniel Theis with the Clippers at 3,900, man. Been dropping 35, 20, 22 fantasy points. Another guy you can lock in your lineup, somebody cheap. And also, Larry Nance Jr., I like him a lot, man. The ones against Indiana, 5,700, man. 50, 30, 38. This guy been balling out his mind. And you also can look at Marvin Williams, too, going against Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. I mean, he's not from Atlanta, but he used to play with Atlanta. I think he's always in a good matchup tonight. You can save some cap to go with him. Well, man, it's your boy Ron back with DFS Greatness. Hopefully this video been helpful for you guys. And hopefully everybody better cash out, man. Good luck. Until next time, I'm out.